This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
I guess for everybody in WA who particularly supports the West Coast Eagles, there was a song that you heard after the game on Saturday afternoon that you did not expect to hear.
Well, that nobody's heard for a while, in fact.
No, I honestly thought it was going to be Dua Lipa.
Back in 99.9% of the time.
There was
you
no
would be right.
Houdiniing out of that one.
Oh, a lot of people were tipping that there was going to be an upset with this one.
Can I
North
say,
Melbourne, I was all over them. Jeez.
you know how things could be to blame
Yes.
for this?
Yes.
Would that be me turning on the TV and seeing just before that happened? Because I don't watch the games ever. I turned it on and saw that happen.
Well, I think the damage was done well before you turned it on.
Yeah, but right towards the end when
okay,
that free kick was given
Yeah.
out.
So from now on, West Coast Eagles, when
I shouldn't
are playing,
watch.
you should never watch.
Oh, I shouldn't
ever.
watch. And I had no right to watch.
Well, if you're going to take credit for it, I was out of the country when they beat both Richmond and Fremantle. So I think maybe I should go on more international holidays.
You're getting the better end of the
Okay.
stick.
Yes, I know.
I'm just not being told not to watch. You're going to be overseas.
If that's what has to happen. It's hard to believe that the same team that beat Melbourne not that long ago fronted up and played like that. And, you know, with no Tim Kelly, they really missed his drive in the midfield. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
And with no Harley Reid as well, you know, that. But still, oh my God, it was just the worst football
Look, people
I've
have
ever
ups and
seen.
downs, but here's the thing. Out of the last 60 games, the West Coast Eagles have won 8.
Yeah, okay.
They've got
Yeah.
52
Well, you look-
losses.
You look at...
Yeah.
52.
But you look at
That's
like forward
unbelievable.
momentum, and this season they were having forward momentum, but somehow it just stopped.
Is Harley
it has-
is Harley Reid that good that now not playing can?
Or no, Tim Kelly added to that
No,
as
I know,
well.
but like,
Yeah.
is Harley Reid that good that not playing can be that detrimental to the Eagles now?
No, certainly last week he was outstanding. I would say the first few games it was all Elliot Yeo.
Yes.
So it was one person who was doing it.
Yeah.
But the crowd impact that he has
Yes.
lifts everyone around him.
Okay.
So without him playing and not necessarily being the best player, but certainly when he goes near the ball and the crowd becomes alive,
Yeah.
then that adds the energy for your home team and it certainly takes the energy away from the opposition
Wow.
team.
To
so
be
he
that
doesn't
new
he does
and
have
to
an
be
impact.
that important.
Yeah.
is
Well, I
pretty
think the
full
West
on.
Australian have made him that so
Yes.
far. They've made him that important, but he has delivered at times. He's delivered
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah,
so
right. Was
yeah.
that decision right?
Which one?
The
Oh,
one.
Elliot
okay.
Yeo
So
one.
Elliot Yeo won. Well, of course, the AFL says yes. I would be furious at that decision because, you know, guys are taught, and we want to see them go hammer
Winning
and
the
tongs at the
ball,
football,
yeah.
and he went hard as. But because they made the decision 2 weeks ago that they're going to start playing more free kicks, it was a week
Holding
ago,
the ball, yeah.
around holding the ball, then they played the free kick.
Who was holding the ball?
Technically, absolutely, but how many
interpretation.
times?
But who isn't holding the ball these days? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not what lost them the game, but
People can say that exactly now.
Yeah.
North Melbourne.
They were at that point there. They were at a dangerous point, but still.
Yeah,
Yes.
North Melbourne smashed them all day, and
Yeah.
my brother was saying, yeah, but West Coast had all these shots, and it was 2 goals 10 at one stage to
Yeah.
whatever it was. But North Melbourne, even though they had kicked less points, they had way more chances of kicking goals.
Yeah,
So they were
yeah.
just so crap that they didn't finish off because they dominated that midfield period. And then there was parts of me, and from a West Coast point of view, going, are they dragging us down to such a shit level that it's made us play terribly?
Oh.
what do you mean by us?
I'm saying from a West Coast point of view, because the
I
game
see,
standard
right.
was so low
It was.
in parts.
It was
It
terrible.
was so
It
terrible.
was
So was that
awful to
North
watch.
Melbourne dragging West Coast
Yeah.
down? But the reality is they're both down the bottom of the ladder for a reason. So they're having too many moments
Yeah.
that are poor.
Yeah.
And too many periods throughout a game that were poor.
So that was an exciting, poor game of football.
Yeah.
not for the people who are in the Bank West seats who were given away last week when we were telling them the best thing about the game, you're going to be getting the food and drink. So, well done to all them. So, anyway, West Coast licking their wounds. They have the week off. Then they play Essendon away, which will be a real tough one, as you know.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, Fremantle back in action this week. They haven't got a good record off coming off the bye, so we'll speak to Shaun Darcy about that. See, Nathan, what the problem is, we're just seeing the highlights, everyone, and what happened is that
This
Elliot
decision.
Yeo jumps on the ball and he drags it in, tries to get to his feet. Jai Simpkin, who's number 12 for the North Melbourne Footy Club.
And the captain.
That's George Wardlaw. He could probably win the Rising Star now that Riley's...
My thing is with holding the ball is, right, so you're holding the ball, right? So you've got it. And then you fall to the ground like he just did. And then someone else wraps their arms around your arms, which are holding the ball, making you hold the ball. Are you holding the ball or are they holding the ball?
I see what you're saying. If they're holding the ball to you,
Used to
that's
be.
right.
It used to
Are
be,
you
but
holding the ball?
It used to be worse when the opposition, more so probably last year and the previous 2 years before, where the opposition would hold the ball in their hand and pin it to you.
Yeah.
Well, because what I just saw then wasn't Elliot holding the ball. Well,
he was holding it.
He was holding it, and then the other guy held it.
It's because he pulled it back underneath him is the official ruling.
Right.
But we always think about prior opportunity when it comes to holding the ball. There was no prior opportunity in that, but because he dragged it to
himself.
Yeah, dragged it to himself.
Maybe give possession.
That's right. He didn't really get an opportunity to do that. But they're saying that's what happens if you drag the ball underneath yourself.
Apparently we're done.
Yep.
Apparently we're done.
Necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, it's Harry's favourite song now.
Harry runs this ship.
Carlos Alcaraz won the French Open. Harry,
massive intro.
No, it's not that massive because it's
I had
over
120 more questions.
Yeah.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Caitlin, big weekend of sport over the weekend. Let's start off with, we had Nat's Box, or Nat had Nat's Box.
Well, but that's for next Sunday when they're going to win.
Oh, it's next Sunday, but the game on the weekend with the West Coast Fever.
Yes.
So that's an away game.
So first game at Adelaide Entertainment Centre, which is where the grand final is going to be this year. So that's already been locked in, locked away.
Sorry, can I ask you, how much did they pay for that? Because I know it was, they sold it.
They did. They've sold it the last couple of years. So it's going to be there, which is great. And sellout crowd, 9,000 plus people. And I just think Fever didn't rock up to play from the first quarter.
They looked a bit shabby, didn't they?
Dan Ryan said at the end of the game, their coach, he was surprised by the fact that they didn't turn up for a big game because they lost to them by 1 goal. This is the reigning premiers, so you'd think you'd be up and about ready for this match. And they just struggled. Only scored 9 goals in the second quarter and the fourth quarter. Janelle Fallon-Nemard, she normally shoots 55 goals a game. She only got 43, I think, for the game.
Yeah.
So they definitely
How embarrassing.
nullified
They
her.
seem to struggle a little bit through the mid-court once again too. Yeah,
It does feel like that time of the year. It's that time of the year that everyone is just struggling a bit, though, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I reckon
Like,
no.
we're all just feeling, we're going, oh my
Season.
God, there's still so much of the year left. And
Yeah, I guess the thing for me was they started Olivia Wilkinson in goal attack. So she's their young goal attack, which is exciting. We've talked a lot about Shanice Beckford, their Jamaican superstar who's come over. They've given the young one a start, and she did really well. And then when things started to go pear-shaped, they ended up bringing on Alice Teague-Neal into goal attack. Now, she hasn't played goal attack for the last 2 seasons, so that's a lot of pressure.
She dropped
on
a super
girl.
shot, though. I saw
she
that.
She did. She dropped 2. But, I just kept thinking that her very first goal, I'm like, has she even been practising her shooting in the meantime? Because she's been playing wing attack for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was a goal attack.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a position she played. And then it's like,
She got the attack part right.
Yeah, she got the attack part right. So no, interesting. They'll learn from this going forward. And we're talking about, they've had a close loss now. They've had a big loss. When you're coming into a final series now, this will prepare them well. But, man, I'd hate to be the Swifts this week because the Fever are going to come out firing against them.
You would hope so.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to give away a double pass to go and see the West Coast Fever take on the New South Wales Swift this Sunday. Let's hear it for the best seats in the house with Bankwest 132410, caller number 6. Okay, so the Fever are going to be winning this one easy because they're going to be fired up. That's how you see it.
Well, it's hard, but Swifts have been underperforming this year. We're having a conversation. There's a lot of drama going off court in the Swifts camp at the moment. Their star shooter, Samantha Wallace-Joseph, has been dropped controversially for the last 2 games.
but she's their star shooter.
She's their star shooter. She had a knee injury, so she was out for a couple of years, and she's come back. And when I was in Melbourne a couple of weekends ago, the coach came out and said she'd been dropped. It later came out that she had been at the captain's run the night before and then didn't rock up to the airport, so she didn't get on the plane.
Yes.
This is the same player that there was a bit of controversy around her in the off-season about a tweet that she made, and there was lots of apologies around, for the transgender community because she's quite religious, and she came out with a comment that upset.
She Israel Followed, basically.
Yes, she did Israel Followed.
You can't allow when you're part of a bigger organisation.
Yeah.
Well, he learned
So the big thing is that the club won't make a statement about her at the moment. They won't tell us why she's not
her
playing.
teammates are unfollowing her on social media, which is, the
Is
greatest sign of all.
Is that because of the flowering?
No. Well, we don't
It's more
know.
recent than that,
it's
isn't
more
it?
recent.
So she got married in the off-season. Some of the girls were her bridesmaids. They've deleted their photos now off social media.
Oh my God! Why
Stop
don't
following
you
her?
fly over there and get to the bottom of this?
Well,
this is like
she's
Real
coming
Housewives.
here.
Yeah, they're
She's
coming
coming
here.
here. Well,
Is she?
They had a home game last week and she wasn't even in the stadium. So I would be very surprised if she came. I'd be very surprised if she ever plays a game for the Swifts again. But this is the first time this has happened in elite netball.
Okay.
And I wonder if it happens in other male sporting teams. Do teammates have spats and then fall out?
But
no.
Can
Wayne
everyone
Carey.
Can everyone,
Yes.
can everyone hate one? Can everyone on a team hate one person? And if that's the case, what happens? Can that person be removed?
No, okay, so here's the deal. So here's a good one to talk about. So Jason Ackermanis played for the Brisbane Lions. They won 3 flags in a row. They were just dominant. They had to have the team had to have a meeting with all the leadership group. Can we deal with this guy? Because he upsets a lot of people.
Oh, we had this meeting before you started with us.
Exactly the same. So they had can he? First of all, can he help us win? Yes. Can we deal with all the off-field stuff and him saying stuff in the media?
Prepared to take on the drama?
Yeah, and then they
even
agreed
looking
that
at a photo of him is exhausting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? A friend of mine did a study, her PhD, on do you need to like each other to play well together?
Okay.
And the findings were that you don't.
It's respect.
Do you
Team
need to like
cohesion-
each other to be in a relationship with each other?
I mean, that's a little bit
It's
different.
respect.
That's-
I don't have either.
Yeah.
I don't have either.
Do you think it's, I mean, football, there's a big number of people in the squad. Netball, what are you talking, 15?
Well, no, not even.
Not even.
You travel with 10.
Yes.
So there's 10. So, I mean, that's rooming with someone. Or you're all of a sudden rooming by yourself. You've got, it is very separate. It is. You can get cliquey in netball at times purely because people make little groups, but it would be hard to hide a player that no one likes within a small group.
Yeah.
100%.
Let's talk about your new world, which is you're a journalist, and the new injuries that come with that world.
Yes, well, I got a little bit worried last week because I've been doing a lot around the big freeze, which is obviously today in Melbourne. Very exciting.
Huge.
And so I've been looking up a lot about M&D, and I got a little bit confused and concerned because I've had a lot of numbness through my hands recently.
Yep.
Pins and needles, and I was Googling some symptoms, and I was like, wow,
Don't ever Google
this is
symptoms.
scary. But it turns out I've got carpal tunnel. And
Because you're a journalist.
Because I've been doing too much typing. So, Chandler from Friends, how he has the claw,
The
when he
claw.
plays.
The claw.
I'm getting the claw in my left hand, which is disgusting. It's quite scary. If anyone's got any ergonomic tips or, is this
You
career
need a
over? Do I
cortisone.
need to retire?
Get a cortisone.
I'm not getting
I need to
cortisone.
Why not get a
retire.
cortisone?
Because I said when I finished playing netball, I refused. No
She's
more injections.
currently 75% cortisone.
Really?
So.
No
You've
more.
said that.
I got to the stage where I was having so many injections I just couldn't handle it anymore. So no more injections.
Just
I don't
gonna
want
tough
them.
it out.
It's your body's way of saying stop.
Yeah,
You've got
it
to
is.
listen to it. So, maybe this might be career over.
Oh my God!
One-handed
Off the
typing,
keyboard,
baby.
mate.
Sean, would you ever make the decision of no more injections?
That's how I live. I still live that way.
Sean is basically like a series of injections.
Yeah,
He's got
exactly.
more cortisone in his body than blood.
Yeah, shout out to Eamon Co. I'll ring him all the time. My number is on fast
Sean like pulls through and they've got like a waiting bay there. Just top me up there.
Where are
So.
you getting these injections though? Because a lot of mine were in my feet and a lot in my hip, and they're very painful areas. And I just got to the stage where I was like, it's just not worth it.
Where are yours, Sean?
Yeah, facet joints around the lower back. Also the hip where I had
And
that
neck.
Synvisc. Remember that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
It
I've
cost
had
me-
Synvisc. It's
Oh,
good.
my
And
God.
weirdly,
$500.
there's one that goes right in the eye of his doodle.
But he requests that. So
Some people don't like it. But so it's the thing. It's the thing between pleasure and pain.
yeah, sure.
I don't
Like
it,
getting
so
choked,
I'm
mate.
done.
Remember that time?
Like getting
I'm
choked.
done. But
That
no,
was a
I've been
nice
having
night,
fun.
Sean.
I've been meeting long lost siblings. I did the football yesterday and potentially met a half brother of mine.
Because he looked exactly the
Lachlan
same.
Blackiston. I got to interview him after the Sharks' huge win, Shawnee.
Well, they got off to a really slow start against West Perth, but then they came good.
And you know what? It was bucketing down with rain. You couldn't even see players out there. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. It was like a muddy, soapy, cakey ball floating around out there. But I got to interview him after the game. I said, can I speak to Lachlan? They were like, are you his sister? And I said, no, I'm a journalist. And then they brought him out and I was like, oh, thank you.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.